Sometimes you're in a place in life where you don't have the support you wish you had. Sometimes you don't have support from a spouse. Sometimes you don't have support from your kids. Sometimes you don't have your support from your mom or your friends or your family. And I just want you to know it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to disown anybody. I'm going to show you some steps that are simple, that you can recruit the support you're looking for at every phase in every area of your entrepreneurial journey. And I promise you this, after listening to these steps, all the people we talked about in the beginning will come and find you. If we're being really honest, this is actually a very common place for entrepreneurs. It's lonely when you're trying to do something that people don't understand. It's lonely when you're trying to go on a road less traveled. It gets lonely. So a lot of people in this position don't have the support. They might have what figuratively looks like support. I have a wife, okay? She's supposed to be support. I have a mother, I have a father, I have brothers and sisters, I have friends. It's supposed to feel like a community. It's supposed to feel like support. But sometimes, you know, you're going down a path less traveled and people don't understand. You might have your spouse who doesn't understand. I was at a place with my spouse years back where it was like, I mean, her and my mother were rallying for me to get a job. Now, I had given them good reason. I was kind of pillar to post with jobs and income. I was working, but everything that I was doing, everything I put my hands to wasn't working. And so you could be working, like you want to go on this entrepreneurial journey, the best thing you can do is shut some of these people up. But as you're on this lonely road, as you're on this road and you're trying to find a path, understand that there's places you can go, things that you can do. I have a list here of things that I'm going to go through, things that I've been through, journeyed on my own, and I'm going to try to share that with you to provide value. But when you're in a situation where support is lacking, number one thing you can do is recruit mentors. You can recruit who you want to talk to. Nowadays, it's so much easier than it was in the past. But let me give you some examples. Like, I was trying to figure out, I was broke, alone, in debt, when you're broken, alone, and in debt, when you're broken in debt, okay, the idea of trying to do a business, nobody's with you. You've already proven that you know how to go backwards. So they're like, hey man, could you just like stable this thing out? Like, what if you just like get a job? Like, what if you just kind of worked? And they're like, and the funny thing is when you're broken in debt or broke and you're an entrepreneur, everyone thinks you're available. Hey, call Mark. He'll pick you up from, hey, call Mark. He'll drop the kids off. Hey, call Mark. And I don't mean my kids. Let's just be clear. I mean like kids, any kids. Uncle Mark, cousin Mark, friend Mark, you know, associate Mark. Mark's available. He doesn't have a job. Really? So just understand, this is the opposition you start to deal with when we deal with the word entrepreneur, right? Man, that dude ain't got no job. You ain't nothing until you start actually bringing in income and you can tangibly show what's happening. And that's okay, but start recruiting mentors. I would, you know, I was in church, so I would seek out, you know, people that were doing the things that I was doing or I was trying to do, and I would ask them questions. I would steal some of their time. I'd bend their ear. And then I'd start making it relational and build a relationship with them so that I had access to them and they had access to me. Most people saw the fire in my eyes. Most people saw the burning desire. Most people knew my questions were going somewhere. It wasn't like this dude just asked, this dude's just aimless. I would never ask something, not do it, and then come back and ask again. That's lunacy. And you don't want to do that with any mentor you recruit, because you know, you're gonna, basically when you recruit a mentor, or you cast a wide net for people that are in the space you're in trying to do what you're doing, essentially your mentors are gonna find you. They're going to find something about you, because they're not gonna, you might bend someone's ear and never bend it again. You might be able to get someone to answer you a few questions, but the people that are gonna come into your life, they like you. There's something about you. You remind them of them. Your passion, your desire. They don't want someone as passionate or as fired up as you to be misguided. They don't want you to be misled. They try to come in and help you in ways that you can win. So recruit them. And nowadays you can do all kinds of things. You can DM people, thousands of DMs, hundreds of DMs. You could nonstop. You could say, hey, look, man, I had a guy DM me the other day saying, hey, man, I would like to set appointments for you. I'm hungry, I'm starving, I want to learn sales more. I'll do anything you ask me to do. He's recruiting me. Now I could go, now I like it. I like the passion. Like, and I'm a sucker for people trying to grow, young people trying to grow. I said, how old are you? 19, starving. Like, I'm a sucker for that. Now I got to look into it more. Do I really have the time, the bandwidth? Do I have a role? Blah, 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 blah. But if he does that 1,000 times, he's gonna find one or two people that are very interested, and some people won't ever answer. Recruit them. This right here, number 2, was a game changer for me. The very reason that I can stand on this, in this spot right here, look at you through a camera, is because of a guy by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk. I would listen to Gary non-stop on his podcast. And at first he sounded belligerent and crazy. And I'm like, dude, this dude's cockamamie off the wall, but I like him. But dude, is he brilliant. He's brilliant. And he would always talk about judgment and not being judged and not being afraid to be judged and not being afraid to he would say, so what, you don't want to shoot the camera and get on camera because you have bags? Everyone has bags. Like, and I would hear his tone. And, you know, Sally Pants 85 wants to judge you in the comments. Like, if Sally Pants 85 wants to judge you in the comments, then what has Sally Pants 85 got going on? So the fear that I used to have about getting in front of a camera was definitely afraid of anyone having anything negative to say, me messing up, this, blah, 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 blah. Now I mess up 25,000 times a day, and I'm good with it, and I don't really care. The only reason why I even have this thing in front of me is because I think I have value to bring to someone who needs it. And so I'm not even remotely moved by judgment or lack thereof because I'm just trying to help people. I'm like in a good place, but I listen to podcasts religiously. I listen to spiritual podcasts. I listen to Stephen Furtick. I've listened to Maxwell. I've listened to Tony Robbins. And I keep stuff on rotation. And I keep, I have a multitude of rotations. Then people will say, hey, have you heard this podcast? I'll listen to it, see if I like it. But podcast has been a game changer. And the reason why it's so amazing, it's audio. So I don't have to watch it, which means that I can be in the shower. I could be, getting ready for work. I could be going to sleep at night. All kinds of things that I could be doing. I could be busy, I could be folding clothes, I could be doing anything I want to do, and I don't have to actually engage in it. I just have to listen. Then if I like something, I can just rewind it, or I can save it, or blah, blah, blah. So podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, I would highly recommend you start seeking the people that are speaking to the places that you want assurance or places you want strengthened. 3 books. This has been worldly renowned for centuries. We're not confused. Books have changed my life. Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my life. Changed my life. I was young. I was figuring it out. I heard about this book. A lot of entrepreneurs had read this book, and they all recommended this book. I read the book, and it taught me about his rich dad and his poor dad, and the business, 4 business quadrants, and it made me like really, really start to think. The Millionaire Next Door, game changer. Taught me about how, you might have a millionaire next door to you, but you don't know because they're not as flossy and as flamboyant as some other millionaire. They call them the glittery rich. But all good stuff. When I read Total Money Makeover, it totally changed the way I manage my money. That's a game changer. These things are available. They're $10, $12, $19.99. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and they have all this on audio too. Get in the book game. Always be tracking your next book. Sometimes you might be reading 2-3 books at a time, but always kind of know what your next book is or the next thing you're thinking about. You can do some research. It's become seamless now with Audible and all these different places where you can go and buy books. You can read about the books prior. I mean, time is just moving so fast in great ways. YouTube's been around for decades, and it's been changing people's lives for decades. The how-to, the DIY, do it yourself, all this stuff that you're trying to figure out, you can go on YouTube. There's many people that are huge proponents of YouTube and using strategy. We use YouTube a lot because we like to see what other creators, other influencers, other world changers are doing as we try to enter in the space of trying to help people. We want to see what the great ones are doing. What are great podcasts doing? How are they doing it? What are they doing? What do their sets look like? YouTube is great because of the visual. You actually get to see it. You get to comment. You get to subscribe to the channel. It'll drop down and show you when the next episode comes out. Now they have YouTube Shorts. There's so many things you can do. Look what we're doing right now, entrepreneur. We're building confidence. We're building process. We're building a path. I don't care where you are. I don't care where you came from. We can erase self-doubt. We can erase insecurity. We can create levels of support where you feel like you have none, but you gotta chase it. And if you feel like you're not up for that, then this might not be a good journey for you. But if you are, there are tools readily available to you that you can use. Number 5, are you kidding me? Social media. This thing is massive. And so it's not like I'm saying something you've never heard of, but even if you're not 100% partaking in the platforms, meaning you're not posting, you don't have any presence, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of creators on there. You can consume. I've also consumed content from some of my heroes. Some people that have stood in the gap for me. Some people that were where I was going. Some people that were thinking how I was thinking and was dropping gems in the places where I needed the gems to drop so that I can have a vote of confidence that day. I don't consume, maybe if I consume a little bit of negative content, I don't consume it and let it change me. I'm dying to find some positive content. I'm dying to find some how-to content. I'm dying to find some content with value, with real content that's going to give me something for the thing I'm missing. You can do the exact same thing. Now you partake, you post stories, you talk to your community, you're building a community, you're engaging your community. You're going to have support. Your community is going to be your support. You're going to build community and create support. Doing the same thing on YouTube. Build a YouTube community of people that like the stuff you're doing, that are interested in the kind of thing you're doing, and start creating what it is you don't have. Stop being a victim of the thing you don't have. Start creating the thing you don't have. You're in full control. Number 6, now we're starting to get into some of the mindset stuff. You got to stay disciplined. If you don't have support and you're a floater, you ain't gonna have support. You're not. Because I don't care if you do all this and you float and you don't have any discipline, you can't put together steps. You can't. And so you're never gonna be able to garner a crowd. You're never gonna be able to get people on board with the mission. You're never gonna be able to get people to follow. They're just not interested. You're not disciplined. Why would they even be interested in you? You're not giving them anything. Discipline equals crystallizing data. And for me, I want positive data. Because if I got discipline, if I'm in the gym and I'm disciplined, you're going to see the results of discipline in the sculpt of my body eventually. If I'm in business and I have discipline, if I have a prayer life and I have discipline, if I'm in school and I have discipline, you're gonna see a high GPA. You have to kind of figure out, what are you doing? Where are you? And if you're lacking discipline, find it in one place that can move the needle. Find it in one place that can move the needle and bite down on it really hard, because what you need is momentum of discipline. And it'll get you where you need to be, but you have to have discipline as you're starting to, recruit some of the support you're looking for. Number 7, you can't, listen, fear's okay. Confusion's okay, frustration's okay. You just can't stay there. Can't stay fearful. You gotta punch it. You can't stay confused. You gotta punch it. You can't stay nervous. You can't. You gotta learn how to punch fear in the face. I'm okay. I'm okay with you being a tad fearful. I'm okay with you being fearful as long as you're willing to go on your gut and conviction anyway. Do it anyway. Don't worry about what the downfall can be. Don't worry about what the downside can be. Don't worry about what you're missing. Don't worry about. The same thing. I was scared of this camera. I was afraid, deathly afraid, years ago. 5 to 7 years ago, probably 7 years ago, 6 years ago. I didn't want to do any of this. I'm like, anything but that. But I realized like where the world was going. It was like totally in video, but at like the beginning of video, and it was like, people are using this to like kind of change the world. And you know, we have a message and we have convictions and we feel like we can help people, and we've helped thousands and thousands of people already, and we want to help hundreds of thousands of people. And like this tool that I'm talking to travels faster than me in a corner of an office talking to 2 or 3 people. And so I had to get over that fear. I had to punch that fear in the face so that I can create the impact that I was looking to create. And we're just getting started. We're just on our journey of like continuing to punch fear in the face. Now it's no longer the camera, it's different things. There's other things that keep popping up, and I gotta keep reminding myself that that doesn't really matter. Let's just keep doing things the right way. Let's keep trying to serve people. Let's keep trying to help. You can do the same. This is how you're gonna recruit, and this is how you're gonna get what you're looking for, business-wise, support-wise. Number 8. You've got to embrace the growth mindset. There's nothing worse than staying stuck in mindsets that don't create winning thoughts, winning values, winning results. If you know it all, every time someone tries to help you or you're like, I got it. No, I knew that already. Okay. If you knew everything already, bro, you ain't growing. You're not gonna grow. You are basically shutting down oxygen of growth. Every time, I got it. No problem, I got it. No, I knew that. That's exactly what I did. I just, oh my gosh. There's a saying out there, and it says something like, would you rather be rich or right? And I don't know, I learned quickly that mindset was a loser, and like research is better. I don't know is better. Sounds good, man. Can you explain more of that to me? Hey, I don't think I fully understood what you said. Can you unpack that for me? Can you explain that? Hey, man, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Talk to me. What do you know about that? Bruh, do you have any idea how freeing that is? I don't know what that is. Talk to me about it. By the way, there's such thing called Google. There's such thing called YouTube. Both search platforms, #1 in the world. So you could search anything you want and get an answer, just about. So you don't have to be without the knowledge, but if you're lacking a growth mindset, you're not gonna search anything. You're not gonna research anything. You're not gonna ask the inquisitive question. You're not gonna say, I don't know, because you're too awesome, too cool. Let's try to focus on, like, all of this represents a growth mindset. And for the family and friends and colleagues and associates who may not support you earlier, who didn't believe in you, or who are afraid to put up their hand as a vote of confidence for you, you start doing this stuff, they all come a flocking. They all come a running. Why? Because everybody wants to be able to say, I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. I knew it, man. Didn't I call it? No, you did not call it. You did not support. Remember when I had no support? And you don't have to say that. You can just go, yeah, man, thank you so much. Because why does it matter? You already know you've done the work. And by the way, when you do this work, you become a lifetime student of this work. This is your work. This is what you do. So don't ever think you're too far gone. Don't ever think it's too hidden. Don't ever think you're under a rock. You're not. There's plenty of ways to win. There's plenty of viable avenues for support. There's plenty of ways for you to recruit anything you want in life. You can go after it. You can get a hold of it. You can manifest it. You can make it happen. If it's not in front of you, go find it. Go get it. It's yours for the taking. Thank you for listening. Love you guys. God bless. This is the kind of content we want to continue to bring to you. All I want to do is come alongside your journey with you. It can be lonely at times, guys. It can be rough at times. It can be absolute downright scary at times. But these are tools that I use to recruit the support I needed, and stuff that I use today to get me out of dark spots, to get me out of tight spots, to get me out of lonely situations. It's not easy, but we're a community and we want to come alongside you. Let's talk about it. Let's comment in the comment section talking about any of these steps. Have you used any of them? Have you not tried these steps? If you have, can you share with us some things that you've done? It's been an amazing ride for us. We want to continue to provide value to you. And that's why we want you to subscribe to the channel. Because if you subscribe, you're going to get the drop downs. You'll know exactly when we post new content. God bless.